Morning, everyone. All right, let's try that again. Good morning, everyone. There you go. Thank you. I appreciate that. And welcome to Warden's Week. I hope your first week and a bit of the new school year has been just as amazing as mine has. My name is Braden Fulton, otherwise known as B. Fultz, Fultzy, or Father Fulton to all the guys and gals on the Warden team. I lied. They don't actually call me that. At least I hope not. As the first bit of my last year of school has been in motion, I've started to see myself get more and more reflective of my life leading up to this point. I wish it would all kind of slow down. See, my life, for as long as I can remember, has felt as if I've been looking out a window of a train, going too fast for me to take in all the beautiful scenery. A strange analogy, I know, but for me it works perfectly. My life could quite literally be described as a train ride, just going from one place to the next, with hardly any time to make a lasting impact on the small stops I'd make. Related, here's a bit of a fun fact about me. I move a lot. Some of my moves include Michigan, China, New Jersey, Etobicoke, and my fam in the back can testify when I say we've been around much more than the average family. I've moved 8 times in my life and had 9 first days of school with faces I had never seen before, having to constantly reintroduce myself as the new kid. In fact, this year, my 3rd year at Appleby College, marks the longest I've ever been at one school. So just know that when I said that my first week has been amazing, I really do mean it. Now, before I get into the heart of my speech, let me preface by saying this. All I've mentioned so far can amount to one personal dilemma. A question I have a burning desire to answer, but just can't in any normal way. Let me ask this exact question to all of you. Where are you from? I know quite a few of you can answer with ease, saying Oakville, Burlington, or I don't know, somewhere in the GTA. For some, it could be Barbados, Nigeria, the USA, and for Rohan, it would be the gym. It seems like all of you could answer this simple question. All of you, but not me. For me, home has never been a place. It's been the people I choose to surround myself with. Cliche? I know. See, my home is my 3 siblings, my parents, my family friends, the people I've met from so many places, and last but most definitely not least, all the friends I've made here at AC. Choosing to adapt to new surroundings and make my home based around people is the only good option I've had, and I wouldn't change that for anything else. This brings me to the central focus of my speech, the importance of adaptability. Seeing as I've moved numerous times, adaptability was all I had, and through it, so many life skills were learned. The ability to develop relationships, to extend out of my comfort zone, and to connect with as many people as possible are only 3 of 1,000 positive qualities that come with an adaptive mindset. See, it's very easy to be bitter and resentful when approaching changes in life, especially during the changes we don't want. But the adaptive person will always persevere. So, what exactly does it mean to be adaptive? Well, I want to be very clear about what it is not. Being adaptive is not the same as changing yourself for the sake of taking the path of least resistance. I want to get it out of the way that you should never sacrifice your core values to be accepted. Never. True adaptability is learning how to roll with the punches, all while maintaining the core values that make you who you are. Many of these punches I encountered in life were a result of my constant moves, and for a long time, I was not healthily adapting to my surroundings. For the longest time, I would change the person I was so I could mesh well in the crowd I was with. Other times, I was too headstrong, too cocky, and was picking battles with literally any person I disagreed with. The first would leave me without respect for myself, and the latter would leave me without many friends. However, a specific revelation came to me with one of my recent moves. I had just started my grade 7 year in Beijing, China, at a school called the International School of Beijing. And just before starting classes, I was told that in December, I'd be moving to Michigan. I'm not gonna sugarcoat my reaction. I was heartbroken. At the time, I was just getting the hang of life in China. I had made best friends, learned some of the language, and had somewhat adapted to a culture far different than my own. My train decided I was done at this stop in life, and I should just pack up and get on board. Once I got over the sadness of it all, the process of this move left me with two options: adapt or be resentful. My revelation was so simple, yet I never fully accepted it before. I decided, for the first time in my life, I was not just only going to adapt, but to do it the right way. Arriving in Michigan with this mindset set me up for successes I couldn't have imagined before. My priorities were no longer the extreme points of individualists to follow whatever the popular kids were doing. No, relationships became my number one priority. And I was hoping to connect with as many people as I could. For example, as some of you may know, I'm the worst at basketball. Like, if I pulled up at the three-point line and just hit the rim, like, I'm satisfied. Despite fooling most of you 2 years ago into thinking I was okay at it through High School Musical, the reality is I am absolute garbage. That all being said, in Michigan, I decided to play school basketball. All the boys in my class were doing it, and I wanted to develop relationships with new people. I humiliated myself on the court frequently, and I quickly found my way to the bench where I would just chill for the rest of the season. To some of you, you may be thinking, that's so stupid, why would you ever do that? And the version of me 1 to 2 years prior would ask that as well. Because going out of my way to play basketball, the world's worst sport, allowed me to adapt and build relationships with good-hearted people. People I still visit and keep in touch with, even though I moved away 3 years ago. I've found, through all my experiences since then, that building relationships and going outside of my comfort zone were key factors in my mission to adapt. I repeated that same mentality when my train took me to Appleby in my grade 10 year. More specifically, during my first RP3 co-curricular term. Some of the boys I'd been getting to know told me about how excited they were for the rugby season and convinced me to come out for the JV team. My first thought was no. My second thought was how I'd just be signing up for a quick beating for 2 months. But it was also a way to bond with new people. That season, I experienced the greatest development of individuals as a group I'd ever seen. As a team, we held each other accountable in practice. We built each other up. We adapted to new challenges we face, which ultimately led to a perfect season. The bond I feel with that team still holds 2 years later, and I never would have experienced it had I not made the conscious effort to adapt by going outside of my comfort zone. Now, I don't know where everyone here is at this point in their life. Maybe this is your first year at Appleby. Maybe it's your 6th. Maybe life has taken you for a rough ride, or maybe there's something coming your way and you haven't got the tools or strength to deal with it. Either way, change is inevitable. We will all face it, and we'll all get a choice on how to respond. For the S2s, most of us are still adapting to living with each other. The same advice applies. Prioritize relationships as we are better together as an adapting community. For the S1s, you guys are still getting used to an 8-course, senior-level course load. First, on behalf of all the S2s who've been there, we send all our thoughts and prayers your way. You're going to need them. But secondly, especially for the amazing new students, use this year to extend outside of your comfort zone. I know it's probably the most cliche, repetitive thing you hear at AC, but signing up for that different club or co-curricular could be the best choice, because you'll never expect what amazing people you get to meet and how quickly you can adapt to this culture. So whether it's day-to-day challenges, moving into residence, or moving to China, our choices are the exact same ones I faced when heading off to Michigan. You adapt, or you can be resentful. Next September, all you S1s will be stepping off your train, whether you like it or not, and will have to adapt to life in residence. S2s, as we've stepped off our trains and are still adapting to life in glorious, glorious residence, we know that in the incoming future, whether we like it or not, we'll have to board our trains again as we speedily head off to university or wherever life takes us. As I look around the room, I can say I'm pleased with how I adapted. I'm happy with all the relationships I've built here so far, and I'm excited for the ones I get to build in the future, wherever my train takes me next. Would you all please rise with me and sing hymn 565?